All right, well, many Americans have been going through foreclosures. It's been going on for a while. Sometimes you don't even realize you think you walk away from your home, but you still own it because you could still be on the hook for some big expenses. These are called zombie foreclosures. And in today's Take Charge Consumer Protection segment, we're going to tell you what you need to stay on your feet. Joining me now, Shari Olefson, real estate and business attorney, director of the Carnegie Group, and it's great to see you again. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jamie.
A zombie foreclosure is the last thing you want if you've really hit the bottom and you have to walk away from your home. First, Shari, can you tell people what it is?
Sure, absolutely. You know that foreclosure is a process which varies a little bit from state to state, but the process generally begins when the owner receives a notice of default. Then the actual foreclosure lawsuit is filed. There's a series of pleadings and hearings and motions that ultimately end in the foreclosure sale, where the property's sold and the money goes to pay off the loan. It's during that whole process, though, that the issue happens, because during that process, the homeowner actually still owns the home. Now, that's a process that used to take a matter of weeks or months. When the crisis hit, the timeline went up to 600 or 700 days in some places. The zombie situation occurs when, for a variety of reasons, that process gets stalled. So the actual title to the home is sort of living like a zombie between this world and the next, and the foreclosure is just never finished.
Sometimes the bank just walks away from it as well, right? So what could happen to that homeowner?
Well, sometimes the bank walks away. There's a variety of reasons, because we now have all kinds of players in this foreclosure process. We have borrowers' defense lawyers and banks and court systems with backlogs and regulators, even the government. But the problem is that the homeowner situation depends on how they handle it. So we know some homeowners have actually benefited from this, Jamie. We hear stories of homeowners living for years for free because of this zombie situation. But for those folks who assumed that the process would move forward quickly like it used to, because it used to be that the banks pushed it forward very quickly to get the title and get the loan paid off, and that was that. If you assumed that was going to happen, and at the beginning of the process, when you got your notice of the foreclosure, you just left the property behind, a lot of folks years later are finding out the process was never completed. They still own the home, and they're still liable.
So how do you
things
find
like
out,
code
though,
enforcement
Shari?
liens?
I'm sorry, because I only have a few minutes. How do you find out if you still own the home?
Well, the best way to do that, in most counties now, you have public records on the internet. So you go to look at the county recording records and see if your name's still on the title, or you can go look at the tax records. You have to be careful, though, because sometimes those records aren't completely current, so it may show that you're still on the title when you're not. But you basically want to look and see if you're still on the title to the home. If you are, you need to get in touch with your bank and see what their intentions are. Are they going to finish the foreclosure or not? And try to mitigate your losses, basically by making sure the property is secure, making sure it's maintained, making sure the expenses, the real estate taxes, and those things are paid on the property so that you don't incur further liabilities.
Yeah, for sure you want to have liability insurance to make sure if someone falls on your lawn and you end up still owning it, could be a problem. I'm going to encourage everybody who went through a foreclosure to check and make sure their title is correct and they're not on it anymore. But I want to ask you, just generally, if you had to foreclose and had a property foreclosed, how do you get back on your feet?
Well, you know, it's challenging. The first issue is repairing your credit, because nothing's going to happen for you financially until your credit's been repaired. My new book that's coming out in February is about this. It's a 5-step process that involves reevaluating your borrowing and your banking, fixing your credit and debt, ultimately deciding if home ownership is right for you, because home ownership and equal good wages are still key to a strong financial prosperity. And education is going to play a big role for a lot of people, because we know that unemployment was a big factor for folks, and just not being able to make enough wages to make ends meet.
Yeah, so do what you can to turn the situation around, but it can happen, but it takes time. Patience, patience. All right, Shari, we'll look forward to the book. Come back when it comes out. We want to help folks.
Thank you.